Now, I'm joined by James Johnson, co-founder of JL Partners. James, just to begin quickly, and we'll talk about the UK polling in a minute and some of the rows we've seen in the last couple of days. Just quickly, Iowa looks like Trump's a long way ahead.
Yeah, Trump is pretty far ahead in the polls. DeSantis and Haley fighting for second place. The number to look out for tonight is Trump's support. If he gets below 40%, people will start questioning his grip on the race. They'll start talking about Haley and DeSantis potentially being able to nip at his heels in later primary contests. If he gets over 50%, I think a lot of people are going to be saying tonight, it's game over, we may as well all pack up and go home and, get fast forward to the convention. So that's the number to watch.
40 and 50 were two big numbers to watch. Now, what on earth is going on in the UK? A poll out that's suggesting that the Tories go back to a sort of 97-style wipeout. But then some of our Conservative supporting newspapers suggesting this is all because of reform, and if reform weren't there, it could be a hung parliament. It's just nonsense, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the reason that voters are going to reform is because they're angry with the Conservative Party. So if reform wasn't there, I think they'd either go somewhere else or they wouldn't vote. So the problem is with the Conservative Party, not with any sort of new party or challenge from Labour or the Lib Dems. On the Labour side, voters are going for Labour despite Keir Starmer rather than because of him. They still worry about him and don't think he's strong enough. So the issue is the Conservative Party, and it's two things in particular. One is their approach to immigration. The voters do not feel they've got a grip on small boats. They do not feel they've got a grip on legal immigration either. Frankly, the Rwanda bill doesn't look set to address those concerns. And secondly is Rishi Sunak's style himself. Voters in 2024, they're looking for a strong person. That's why Trump's doing well here in Iowa.
Yeah.
They're looking for someone who can get things done and is plain speaking. And they don't view the PM as that. I did focus groups last week and people described the PM as limp, weak and spineless. If he doesn't turn that around, then he's going to be heading towards a very difficult result like the one in that poll.
Yeah, I guess what we've seen, the reform element is it's the Tory supporting newspapers trying to shift the blame somewhere else. But as you say, it's people are unhappy with the Conservatives. What impact do you think? I guess, I know, but George Galloway has announced he's entering the race for London Mayor. I just wonder about this, whether it's Jeremy Corbyn, whether it's George Galloway, whether they merge together. If they were to fight a significant number of seats at the next general election, and indeed against Sadiq Khan, could they be hurt from a left Labour?
Well, I think if we were sat here a year ago, I'd be saying, I'm not really sure, not really. But a big thing has changed, and that is the October 7th attacks in Israel and the ongoing conflict. And that has, quite frankly, radicalised a lot of people on the left who are very angry with Keir Starmer's response. And obviously Sadiq Khan has sort of flip-flopped a little bit on it as well. So I do think that leaves an opening for George Galloway, especially in those seats with a high Muslim majority, but also a high percentage of students as well, who often have more anti-Israel views than Muslims in Britain today. So I think that's possible. Jeremy Corbyn obviously has a constituency too. So I would expect that to see some votes come off Sadiq Khan. And remember, this time round, for the first time, the London mayoral race is first past the post. Whoever gets the most votes wins, and that makes it harder for Sadiq Khan because he usually relies on Lib Dems and the Greens' second preferences. He ain't going to get them this time.
No, he isn't. You're right. Although it does seem the Conservative candidate, Susan Hall, is making almost no impact whatsoever.
No, she's not doing particularly well. Basically, voters just don't know who she is. That is difficult for the Conservatives to try and cut through. Look, people will pay attention a little bit more as time comes, but clearly she's not the strongest candidate the Tories could have chosen either.
Doesn't seem so, does it? No. James Johnson, as ever, fascinating, and we'll see what happens tonight. So the numbers, James is saying to us, if Trump gets less than 40% of the primary vote, questions will be asked. If he gets more than 50, it is pretty much game over. And whilst the circus will move on to New Hampshire for the next primary, it will be pretty much done.